Hi, I'm Jade Beckles, Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Manager at Gateby Saunderson. Welcome to this International Women's Day special episode of Leadership Lens, a vlog series where we bring critical EDI conversations into focus for the public and not-for-profit sector. Today, we're at the TLA Women in Tech event in partnership with Harbottle and Lewis and led by GS's very own Sarah Luxford, a partner in our digital data and technology practice, co-founder of TLA Women in Tech, and recognised as one of the top 5 most influential women in tech. This evening's theme is Advancing Digital Trust, Women Shaping AI, Data and Online Safety, and I'll be speaking with these women at the forefront of tech leadership to hear their key insights on EDI in tech. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel for all episodes, bringing you EDI through a leadership lens. Let's get started.
This is actually quite a contentious issue within the community at the moment because we keep talking and pushing how we can drive inclusivity and get more women into these leadership positions to influence the creation of technologies like AI, which have underlying biases. We've known this for years, but the concern is that once again, we are looking to minorities in the field, in the area. In this case, because we've got this Women in Tech event, it's a good point to draw out that most women leave technology before they're 35. So instead of just saying, how can we put pressure on women to fix these problems, we are instead addressing the causes that stop them from naturally attaining these leadership positions that would potentially stop these biases in the first place.
AI does have the potential to be absolutely innovative and absolutely life-changing. We're talking about companies that have obviously trained these large language models, and in doing so actually are implementing bias, our own bias. The same people that have their own unconscious bias are then training these models and actually putting that out there. It's really concerning because all we are doing is mirroring our already implemented biases back again into these models and actually creating more of a divide in society, which I think is really a cause for concern. And actually the onus should be on the companies that are developing this technology, because actually government wouldn't be able to keep us up to speed whilst they can enforce all sorts of regulations and laws. However, if the companies are developing them, actually the onus should be put back onto them.
AI has such tremendous opportunity, but ultimately it's based on the data that we've created in the past. That creates some really significant issues because not everyone in the world is currently online. There's such a gap between the global north and the global south, for example, but also different people generate different data footprints in such a different and unusual way, and we have to make sure that everyone involved in the AI conversation is included so that we're alive to all the brilliant differences that exist between us.
What we have done is work with the companies that have provided pilots and innovations in AI and automation alongside our user research team and our content designers to make sure that we are testing that people aren't left behind and that it is inclusive. It is hard to make sure that there isn't bias, and especially in such new technology when we're all learning as we go. But we have found that being able to reach out to real groups of users and to involve different groups around disabilities and charities, it means we get that knowledge that we wouldn't have otherwise by actually testing it with them before it goes out. And that means that we're able to pick up on things like emojis in a chatbot bar, meaning that when someone is reading that out on a screen reader, it's really confusing and unnecessary for them. So getting that removed and being able to check that strong accents can still be heard so that you're not unknowingly excluding people. Just user research and user testing is really, really important in trying to find these assumptions. Make sure that you're not having assumptions and make it clearer. that you are including everyone, and then just iterating as you go.
In terms of how do you enable more representation from diverse backgrounds, whether that's women, people of color, in the whole AI conversation, I think the most important thing is to first enable these folks to use the technology so that they can form an idea and perception of their own, and then facilitate more, I would say, like forums, platforms where these diverse views can be surfaced, so that really what we have is not just sort of a white Anglo-Saxon view on these problems, but a more global perspective and coming from those whose lived realities it is.
I think the event's been fantastic today. It's really great to see a lot of women at the forefront of the conversation. I think the main takeaway for me was around the need to collaborate at all levels, and whether that's seniority, public sector and private sector. There's a lot that we can all learn from each other in that. And I think in such a rapidly changing environment that we're in currently, the more we can collaborate over things, the better. And I think in terms of what I take away from that, that's going to be something that I'm mindful of, making sure that I create an environment where everybody around the table, virtual or physical, feels able to share their point of view, share their ideas and their thoughts and feelings about ultimately getting to better outputs as a team.
I was invited to this event today to speak about online safety and AI frauds. Thoroughly enjoyed the event. It was a great lineup of speakers. I got to meet FCA, government and Ofcom in one panel, which doesn't happen very often. Certainly inspired by the line of speakers, as well as a lot of takeaways from the session around online safety, what is new happening in innovation and how regulation is catching up with all of that. One of the key takeaways that I saw was the panel was full of ladies, the room was full of ladies as well, but I want to make sure from future that there is more male representation as well in the rooms when events are specifically about women.
And I think for all parts of the DEI agenda, and looking, for example, at the LGBTQ community, it really is incumbent on the CEO and the management board to fully embrace the agenda. To make sure that they are speaking to all employees about the importance of DEI, and in this case, to signal to employees from the LGBTQ community that this is an important part of the mix. And if organizations have the benefit of having women from the LGBT community in more senior roles, sometimes it's not always easy because some of the women may not want to, but it's important that they stand up and try and become an important role model to say, this is okay, this is acceptable, I am in this senior role, this company really believes in me and is giving me that opportunity to represent myself as who I am. That, I think, has a great reverberation impact across an organization.
And what's fascinating about my role is I'm responsible for technology, innovation and data, and the whole life cycle of everything that has to do with data innovation and how it's used throughout the organization. And when you think about that, it's really about the great and wonderful people that work together to create all of these innovations and deliver them across organizations. And just in general, I have always held the belief that the more diversity you have in your teams, the better, more productive, the better ideas, the more innovative solutions will come out. And all kinds of diversity, and that can be socioeconomic diversity, different backgrounds, people that have non-traditional backgrounds, apprentices, grads add a tremendous amount of value to our programs and our thinking. So generational gaps, it's really important in teams to have different age ranges, different races, different nationalities, even people who celebrate different holidays really bring different kind of thinking to the way technology is used. Because at the end of the day, when you deliver a tech solution, it's for what we often call an end user. But the end user is a human. And so everyone uses technology differently in a way that's accessible to them. And so we need to design technology that's accessible for everyone. And that could be someone with visual impairments or learning disabilities. And when we think about the broad range of the services that we provide, we can only achieve that by having the most diverse team possible. So I think it's really important as leaders in tech and data to just make sure your team reflects the diversity of all the consumers and stakeholders that you want to provide your tech to.